Alright, so first things first, I'm at my grandma's house recording this video. I'm in my grandma's house doing a sleepover, which is the reason why that you probably hear some sounds around the recording that I'm doing for this video essay. And the funny part is that while I was in the middle of making the Hollow Knight video essay, I was doing some research of this forgotten series that Bandai Namco put in the shelves. I was in the middle of legit in the middle of making the Hollow Knight video essay, and I started to get invested with this series. On December of last year and in January of this year, I made two videos talking about a game that maybe I could try out, and there was a streamer going by the name of Games Cage, the hype guy, when I added him saying, should I play this game? And he said yes. I'll leave the link to those two videos in the description. And to put in summary, I saw the trailer for Klonoa Phantasy Reverie series and I wasn't impressed. It was basically like a re-release of those games. I just didn't felt the hype or the motivation to play this game, and I was expecting like 10, maybe like 11 comments of saying, you should play Klonoa, how dare you? Or say something like, you have to play Klonoa, how can you say no to that little guy's face? Play Klonoa Phantasy Reverie series, I will kill your mother. I expected toxicity from the fan base of Klonoa, but I only just got my grandmother to try this game and one of my subscribers asking if I'm gonna play the game, and I replied with no. As I was doing my research to make this video essay titled Klonoa is Lost Media, this game franchise has a lot of potential, but it didn't just get like the praise for it, okay? And there's newer fans to this franchise and they do feel upset that this game hasn't gotten any praise, and I guess it's probably the most underrated franchise that Bandai Namco has produced. Bandai Namco used to be called Namco or Namco or however you call it. That is the same company that made Pac-Man. And the funny part, as I was doing my research to this, the streamer Games Cage praises Klonoa to the very gospel. Like just wishing that if Klonoa was a god, he will pray religiously. I know I sound like I'm being mean, but I'm just making jokes here. And I won't lie to you, if you seemed a bit puzzled or confused as to what I'm saying, just keep watching the video, because the more I talk about why Klonoa is lost media, the more you're going to understand why this is lost media and why I'm upset about it. Let's start with the list of games first, okay? The first Klonoa game came out in 1997 called Klonoa Door to Phantomile. The second game for Klonoa came out in 1997 titled Kaze no Klonoa Moonlight Museum. The second game of Klonoa came out in 2001 called Klonoa 2 Lunatic's Veil. The fourth game of Klonoa came out in 2001 titled Klonoa Empire of Dreams. The fifth game of Klonoa came out in 2002 titled Klonoa Beach Volleyball. The sixth game of Klonoa came out in 2002 titled Klonoa 2 Dream Champion Tournament. The seventh game of Klonoa came out in 2002 titled Klonoa Heroes Densetsu no Legendary Star Medal. 6 years later, they released a remaster to the first game released on the Nintendo Wii titled Klonoa in 2008. Then last year, they released Klonoa Phantasy Reverie series, which is a remaster to the first game and a remaster to the second game in one bundle. That is 9 games that the Klonoa series has been shown to the public eye for the past 25 years, okay? I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw the trailer for Klonoa Phantasy Reverie series and I looked at the Klonoa character, and I'm just asking myself, who is this bootleg Sonic character wearing a Pac-Man head, looking straight dead in the eye like he's about to take my soul, using a big collar as a shirt, wearing oversized rain boots, and why is he holding a big ring? Is that a Chaos Emerald? You know what his ears remind me of? That Pokemon that everybody sims for, Lopunny. With that all out of the way, let's get started with the main premise of this video as to why Klonoa is lost media. Why do people like Klonoa? Klonoa is a joy to play, and what sets it further above its temporaries is the story and characters. The cute cel-shaded art style belies some tragic events that occur especially in the first game. These are still kids games, but both end on depressing notes that really make you cherish the adventure. So in short, you're gonna tell me that I'm gonna be depressed after I finish the first and second game in Klonoa Phantasy Reverie series. And believe it or not, the first 8 games on the Klonoa series are on Twitch. Klonoa is a platform video game series created by Namco in 1997. It stars Klonoa, an anthropomorphic creature who explores dream worlds. The series includes 2 main games, Klonoa Door to Phantomile 1997 for the PlayStation, and Klonoa 2 Lunatic's Veil in 2001 for the PlayStation 2. A remaster of Door to Phantomile was released for the Wii in 2008, and remasters of both games were released in 2022. The series also includes includes a set of handheld games released between 1999 and 2002 for the WonderSwan and Game Boy Advance. I'ma be honest, I did not know that until now. Klonoa, genres, platform, action, role-playing, sports. Developers, Namco, 1997 to 2002. Now production, 2002. Pound, 2008. Monkeycraft, 2022. Publishers, Namco, 1997 to 2002. EU, Sony Computer Entertainment Europe, 1997 to 2002. Bandai Namco Entertainment, 2008 to the present. Creator, Hideo Yoshizawa. Platforms, PlayStation, WonderSwan, PlayStation 2, Game Boy Advance, Wii, Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S. The first entry in the series, Klonoa Door to Phantasmal, was developed by published by Namco. How does that make sense? With director Hideo Yoshizawa. The Klonoa character and other game characters were designed by Yoshihiko Arai. The game released to a positive critical reception. Critics labeled it as Namco's first notable 3D platformer and a bid for creating a gaming mascot. The game has been renowned for its blend of 2D gameplay with 3D visuals. After Door to Phantasmal, Namco developed two follow-ups simultaneously. Klonoa Moonlight Museum for the WonderSwan, and Klonoa 2 Lunatic's Veil for the PlayStation 2. Moonlight Museum was released exclusively in Japan and set the design standards for future handheld Klonoa games. Lunatic's Veil was released to critical acclaim but weak commercial performance. Namco published 3 Klonoa games for the Game Boy Advance in the early 2000s. The first two, Klonoa Empire of Dreams and Klonoa 2 Dream Champ Tournaments, are platform games which continued the 2D gameplay used in Moonlight Museum but with a new cast of supporting characters. The third game, Klonoa Heroes Densetsu no Star Medal, was an action role-playing game released exclusively in Japan. Also during this period, Namco published Klonoa Beach Volleyball in Japan and Europe. With no home console release in the series since 2001, Namco sought to revive the franchise with Klonoa for the Wii, a remake of Door to Phantasmal. The game featured revised graphics and voice acting, as well as new unlockable bonuses not in the original. Despite receiving positive reviews, the game was a commercial failure, and plans for a remake of Lunatic's Veil as well as a third mainline installment were scrapped. Now just reading this, it's just sad. Like, no pun intended with the storyline for Klonoa 1 and 2, but just seeing like the rise and then the downfall for this game being revived, but still turning into a commercial failure. And even though there was gonna be a third game of Klonoa, it was completely scrapped because of the revenue being collected. I really don't know what to say, but I do feel bad for the people that were in the making of Klonoa and the fans for Klonoa too. Also, for Klonoa Heroes Densetsu no Star Medal, if you translate it from Japanese to English on Google Translate, it means legendary in Japanese. So Klonoa Heroes is just titled Klonoa Heroes Legendary Star Medal, but I guess they put Densetsu no Star Medal because I guess they want to make it fancy. And for Kazuno Klonoa Moonlight Museum, if you put Kazuno on the Japanese column and translate it to English, Kazuno means of wind. I guess it means Klonoa of Wind Moonlight Museum. I don't know. I'm sorry that this screenshot doesn't look pretty good because I tried to magnify and make it a close-up to this text. I deeply apologize. In September 2019, a trademark filing under the name Klonoa of the Wind Encore was discovered. Further trademark filings for Wahoo Encore and 1 and 2 Encore were discovered in September 2021. In December 2021, a trademark for Klonoa Phantasy Reverie series was filed in the United Kingdom. Phantasy Reverie series, which features remasters of the Wii version of Klonoa Door to Phantasmal and the original Klonoa 2 Lunatic's Veil, was officially announced in a Nintendo Direct in February 2022 and was released in July for Nintendo Switch, Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and Xbox Series X. The game is titled Kazuno Klonoa 1 and 2 Encore in Japan, making it another entry in Bandai Namco's Encore series of remakes. So far for the critic score for the first and second game are 80, 90, for Empire of Dreams is 80, for Dream Champ Tournament is 70, same thing goes for the Klonoa remaster of the first game, and for the Phantasy Reverie series is all 70s. The Klonoa series has been mostly critically well received. It was praised for its gameplay, graphics, and story. It's also received several awards, including Lunatic's Veil winning GameSpy's PlayStation 2 Platform Game of the Year in 2001. However, the series saw disappointing sales commercially. Lunatic's Veil only sold 133,401 copies in Japan during 2001, making it the 85th best-selling game of the year, while Klonoa on Wii only debuted with 5,800 copies sold in Japan, making it the 33rd highest-selling game in the region in its first week. Phantasy Reverie Reverie series made number 5 in the UK sales charts in its first week, with 52% of its sales being on Switch and 33% being on PlayStation 5. While in Japan, the Switch version sold 9,602 copies in its first week, placing 5th in sales charts, whilst the PlayStation 4 version shifted 1,252 units and made it number 25. The character Klonoa has made cameo appearances in other video games developed by Namco. He is playable in Namco x Capcom, MotoGP, Alpine Racer 3, Smash Court 3, World Kick, Super World Stadium 2000, Family Tennis Advance, Pro Baseball Famista 2011, and Famista Dream Match. Other games in which Klonoa is referenced in include several games in the Tales of series, several entries in the Taiko no Tatsujin series, several entries in the Ridge Racer series, several entries in the Mr. Driller series, also created by Hideo Yoshizawa, several entries in the Kotoba no Puzzle Moji Pitan series, Japanese version of Xenosaga Episode 1, Namco Stars, Point Blank 3, Family Stadium 2003, Quick Spot, Dragon Tamer Sound Spirit, Seven Bridge, Karowa RPG Kishi to Musha to Densetsu no Kaizoku, Magical Girl Lyrical no Hoha Ace Portable, The Gears of Destiny, Soul Calibur 5, Tekken 7, and We Love Katamari Reroll Plus Royal Reverie, among others. Shippu Tengoku Kaizen no Klonoa is a 2-volume long comedy / slapstick manga that, unlike the somewhat more serious tone from the video games, feature Klonoa as a good-natured, clumsy, and dim-witted kid obsessed with being a superhero. His attempts to make good deeds tend to fail or cause the opposite effect due to him being overly enthusiastic, his habit of jumping to conclusions, and sometimes just because of bad luck. The volumes were released in 2002 and 2003. Klonoa Dream Traveler of Noctis Soul was a webcomic series published by Shifty Look, written by Jim Zub and drawn by Hitoshi Ariga. It began in September 2012 and lasted for 2 seasons, with new pages being released every Wednesday, later Wednesdays, and Fridays, before abruptly stopping in mid-late 2014 with the closing of Shifty Look, ending the story on a cliffhanger. In addition, Klonoa has made cameo appearances in Shifty Look's other series, Bravo Man Super Unequated Hero of Excellence, and Lolo, a recurring character in the Klonoa series, appears in Shifty Look's web browser-based dating simulation game Namco High, albeit with an entirely different personality from her other appearances. I can't imagine somebody reading the webcomic and then they're expecting some kind of update with the comic until they now know that it is now stopped on a cliffhanger and there's not going to be any updates with the comic. Yeah, there's going to have to be a big punch in the gut when you've been following up this story for quite some time. Alright, so here's a photo that I took a screenshot of comparing the original game for Klonoa 2 and the remastered version of the second game for Phantasy Reverie series, and I won't lie, it does look pretty clean. Now, for the Namco x Capcom game that Klonoa was in as a playable character, a large majority of people do agree that this game is pretty good. And this game was released on the PlayStation 2, and if you got a really good eye, you can see him on the bottom right corner. Namco x Capcom is a tactical role-playing game, a Japanese role-playing game, and an action role-playing game, and it was released on May 26, 2005. Composer for this is Yuzo Koshiro. Now, GamesCage made a tweet saying the Klonoa jump scare where Klonoa featured in the Namco x Capcom intro, and I'm not gonna lie, I watched the intro for myself and it does sound pretty good. There was even some video essays that I stumbled upon after I watched the Namco x Capcom intro with their share of opinions for the Klonoa game, with Dude's title saying Klonoa is important, big wahoo energy. Greymad's video titled Klonoa, the cutest case of nihilism, and nihilism is the rejection of all religions and moral principles in the belief that life is meaningless. The Angel Stars video titled The Complete Klonoa Retrospective, and this is probably one of my favorite thumbnails, besides Dude's video, with Chase Face's video titled Klonoa, the saddest game ever made, analysis/tribute. Does Klonoa talk? In the worlds of the Klonoa franchise, the inhabitants speak a gibberish-like language based on the Japanese dialogue. This is an incomplete list of Phantomillion terms. Note, some Phantomillion vocabulary is different when certain characters use them, such as Klonoa. Now, as I thought that I was gonna be done with this whole video essay talking about Klonoa being lost media, I found an article where it said that the Klonoa producer sees potential of remasters and expansions of IP. Klonoa producer says remasters might lead to more re-releases and expansion of IP. Klonoa Beach Volleyball Remaster. Next Friday, Klonoa makes its grand return return after over a decade out of the limelight. Klonoa Phantasy Reverie series launches on 8th July and it sees Klonoa Door to Phantomile and Klonoa 2 Lunatic's Veil get the remastered treatment. But after such a long break since the Wii remake and multiple other spin-offs, what is in Klonoa's future? In an interview in Lock-On's upcoming 4th issue, which you can pre-order here, the collection's producer, Ryo Ishida, hopes that the upcoming remasters will lead to more Klonoa games in the future, thanks VGC. Ishida recognizes that the main target of the Reverie series is the longtime fans we have been begging for the Dream Traveler to make his return. Also hopes the collection is successful as it may lead to opportunities. With Klonoa, since there's been large gaps between the release of the games at this 25th anniversary's timing, we decided to release this title so people can play the original games first. And if this remastered version is loved by the community, there might be opportunities to further expand the Klonoa IP and do other remasters of other titles as well. The first goal and idea behind the Phantasy Reverie series itself is to spread awareness and reignite the Klonoa IP. Klonoa is most famous for its 2 Sony platforming games, but the adorable black and white mascot also had adventures on the GBA, WonderSwan, and even a beach volleyball game. In the same interview, marketing manager Moa Ikuchi also backed up Ishida on the collection's target audience and reiterates that the passionate fan base is what has made these remasters possible. Main target is veteran gamers who still love Klonoa. As you know, Klonoa is a title and character that is still loved and supported by many people. Because of these veteran gamers and our existing fans, that we were able to successfully reinvent and reveal the remastered version on the 25th anniversary. Alongside the memories that our existing fans have, we have also made the game more appealing and suitable for younger gamers, and also people who haven't discovered Klonoa yet. That's why even though our main target is veteran gamers, we hope that a large variety of game fans will enjoy and experience the charm and appeal of the original Klonoa games. We would love to see Klonoa's return make a big splash, but the series has always struggled in sales. Around the time the Wii remake came out, series creator Hideo Yoshizawa said of a third game that, quote, "It all depends on the sales of the new Wii game." However, in the game's first week of release in 2008, the Wii title only managed to rack up 5,800 sales. Hopefully Phantasy Reverie series does a bit better and we all get that beach volleyball remake that we're all looking for. I do agree that this game is a struggling franchise because it was able to sell 9 games out of the 25 years it has been existing on the gaming industry, and maybe when Phantasy Reverie series racks up a lot of sales. And another thing I want to add before I end this video essay is that there was going to be a film adaptation to the Klonoa series. Klonoa Door to Phantomile anime film announced. And this was an illustration being made by Hitoshi Arai. And I also found out that a year after the announcement to the film adaptation, there was an update being made by the movie producer. The following comes from Klonoa movie producer Rob Pereda. Finally, on this day of the Klonoa 20th anniversary, we're in a position to get to work on finance and distribution partnerships. Animation development is a long road, but being in the right position with the director, anime studio, script, and other talent that's just right is what will give this special series the special film it needs. Happy to know this is still moving along, even though it seems like it'll be quite some time before we see the finished project. Let's hope development continues smoothly from here on out. But the film got canceled. Klonoa series anime film adaptation has been canceled. Manga author Hitoshi Ariga apologizes to fans. Back in October of last year, an anime film adaptation was revealed for Bandai Namco's Klonoa series of platforming games. US-based studio Henshin Incorporated was involved with the production, with Bob Pereda producing, but unfortunately the project had since been cancelled. The cancellation announcement came from manga author Hitoshi Ariga, who previously worked on titles like Mega Man Megamix, Mega Man Gigamix, the Big O Manga, and character designs for Pokemon. He was on board to co-produce, write the scripts, and design the characters for the movie, and he also handled penciled the art for Shifty Look's webcomic Klonoa Dream Traveler of Noctis Soul. Ariga apologized to fans and thanked them for their encouragement and support, expressing hope for a new Klonoa adventure sometime in the future. Henshin founder Rob Pereda confirmed with Anime News Network that his company was no longer working on the movie. Other than the 2012-2014 Shifty Look webcomic, there hasn't been much in the way of new Klonoa media since 2008's Wii remake of the original 1999 P-Zone entry Klonoa Door to Phantomile. Like Ariga, we wish the character a bright and busy future. And recently I found this article saying Klonoa Phantasy Reverie series producer talks challenge of remaster. The producer of Klonoa Phantasy Reverie series collection has spoken to Retro Gamer about the numerous challenges the team faced when remastering the adorable Klonoa 2 from PlayStation 2 to modern day platforms. Producer Ryo Ishida told the magazine that one of the most significant issues that the team had to deal with in Klonoa 2 was with the game's stage lighting. Ishida said that they had to think very carefully about how to illuminate the numerous stages with care, as they really did not want to disturb the original game's atmosphere and mood. Here's what he said. One of the many significant challenges that we had with remastering Klonoa 2 is the adjustment of stage lighting when porting the PlayStation 2 version of the game to the current gen platforms. There was the problem of dim lighting in certain areas. You might think we could just increase the lighting of the whole area, but as we needed to also take care of preserving the intended atmospheres and mood in the original game, we put a lot of time and effort into adjusting those. After spending an entire day doing this video essay talking about how Klonoa is lost media, I do hope that the Klonoa franchise does reach the public eye in a positive format and hopes that it will be revived and put into the game industry in a very positive way. Best hopes and best of luck to the people that are working in the Klonoa series, and best of support towards the fans that have been supporting this franchise as well. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you guys did, leave a like, subscribe, comment down below what you think about the video. I legit spent the entire day recording this, and it's gonna be one hell of a ride editing this as well. That's gonna be it. Hope y'all enjoyed. This is Wolf Dog Gray, and I'll see y'all later. See ya.